What I'm about to show you is extremely graphic, so please, viewers' discretion is advised. But you see the title, you've probably seen the news. If you haven't, Charlie Kirk got basically annihilated. I mean, it's insane. And, I thought someone that had sent me that was implying that he got smoked in a debate. I didn't realize he actually got shot. That's insane. I'm going to show you some of the footage. It's probably going to have to be blurred in some way, shape, or form because YouTube's very strict with this stuff. But just take a look at this and just viewers' discretion. Viewers' discretion is advised.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Oh my God! Go run! Oh!
The sound to the movement of his body is just sends chills down my back. It's not like a movie or anything. This is real life. This is a real person, and they might have just gotten eliminated. This is a close up. This is probably going to look a lot worse. Again, I might have to blur some stuff, but let's take a look at this. This is from someone that was up in the front of the crowd.
Not counting gang violence. Great.
I don't think anybody could survive that. I mean, he was shot. If that wasn't the jugular, it was right next to it. I mean, he just immediately started gushing blood. And I mean, it's hard to talk after watching that. It's honestly almost nauseating to watch because that's somebody's dad, that's somebody's husband, that's somebody's brother, uncle, someone's best friend. Notice I'm not making this political because this is not a political thing for me. To me, I'm just saying it's wrong that someone that's giving a speech or having a debate or whatever he's doing at that college just gets shot out of nowhere. I mean, that's insane. So this apparently happened at Utah Valley University, and they're saying that his condition is unknown, but as of 3:30 p.m. on the day that it happened, September 10th, 2025, as of the recording of this video, I don't think he, right now the articles are saying he's hospitalized, but I don't think he's going to make it, unfortunately. And, my condolences to his family and anyone that knows him and loves or respects him. I'm not a political guy. I don't talk about politics. I'm only talking about this from the fact that somebody was literally shot on stage and did nothing to provoke that in that moment. That's insane. You might know that he's obviously leans pretty strong one way. Whether or not you agree with that, I'm not going to say whether or not I agree with it. It doesn't really matter in this case. This is like if you see a random guy get shot on the street, you don't really know much about him. You don't know who he is. In that moment, you just think that's wrong because a random person got attacked. This is very similar actually to the lady that just got stabbed on I think it was a train, the Ukrainian lady. Like a dude from behind just came up and stabbed her a bunch of times and she died. And she was actually here in the U.S. I think it was in North Carolina. But she was here in the U.S. seeking refuge from, Ukraine with the war going on. And again, all politics aside, doesn't matter what side you believe in, that clearly was wrong. Some random guy attacked a random person. Obviously he was probably going through some mental thing, but it doesn't mean that he had the right to take somebody's life, Just like this, I'm assuming the person who shot him, might have disagreed with some of the stuff he said, which is totally fine. No one, I gotta say the odds of somebody hitting this person, I mean, this is not a rookie. Even if you're a shooter and you go to the range often, long range shooting, long distance shooting at hundreds of yards away is extremely difficult and takes extreme preparation and a ton of skill. And honestly, the only way to get better at it is to hone in your skill. And obviously that takes a lot of practice, and not a lot of people can afford the time and the money it takes to practice at long range distance. And honestly, a lot of ranges don't even have that type of range. You might shoot out 50 yards, which isn't much. This has to be at least 150 to 250 yards at the minimum because they have to be hidden. I just think this feels like a corroborated thing where like someone hired a professional of some sort, but that's just my opinion. They supposedly have a suspect in custody, but this doesn't, I don't know, this seems like this is just the closest person they can find. It seems like the person that did it probably got away clean and is probably going to be laying low for a while. But it's unfortunate, man. It really is. And that they knew where this tent was going to be set up. That they must have had like some type of information because they clearly set up a good vantage point and they were in the right spot at the right time. No one obviously saw them because no one stopped them. And he was able to execute the shot that he was probably planning for a while, and it's insane. I'm just going to say this, if you live in the US and you have the right to protect yourself, you're not a felon or anything like that, I'd recommend, do what you got to do to get the tools to protect yourself. That's all I'm going to say. Doesn't matter if you believe in those tools or not. I think at the end of the day, if someone is trying to attack you with one of those tools and you don't have one, that's one of those you wish you had one moment. Now, obviously, in a situation like this, none of that matters because, no one's going to look hundreds of, 500 yards away or however far the guy was. This is still fresh, so no one really knows. But that wound, man, it's crazy. It is crazy. So this happened about 3 hours ago as I'm recording this. It happened around 12 on September 10th, 2025. So this is still really fresh. And obviously, no one's going to release any information about whether or not he made it until, that information is solid. There's a lot of government officials like J.D. Vance, Mike Lee, who's a Utah senator, and a couple of others that were, basically saying, hey, pray for Charlie Kirk. He's a good person, whatever. Again, regardless of what you believe in, religiously, politically, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm just looking at this as a person that had no idea what was going on, was on stage doing their job, whatever, and they just got shot. I mean, that is insane. The FBI director, Kash Patel, said that the FBI is, quote, closely monitoring reports of the tragic shooting involving Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Agents will be on scene quickly, and the FBI stands in full support of the ongoing response and investigation. Now, I'm just going to point out that Kash Patel, or Kash Patel, however you pronounce it, he's been on Joe Rogan. He's been on the news. He's done interviews and stuff with the Epstein case, and everything he says is a lie. It's just like every other politician, anybody else in a higher up power, anybody in these three-letter agencies, including the FBI, they're all liars. So I don't believe anything they say. So I just think it's funny that he always feels the need to chime in, even though his word is pretty much empty. And then you have Charlie Newsom, who's the governor of California, who obviously swings the opposite way that Charlie Kirk tends to swing when it comes to politics. He says the attack on Charlie Kirk was, quote, disgusting, vile, and reprehensible. In the United States of America, we must reject political violence in every form. I'm just going to point out, again, this guy's making it about politics. Nothing to do with political violence. I just think it has to do with violence in general. Like that someone feels so entitled that they can go out and take a life just because they feel like they might be right or the other person might be wrong. That has nothing to do with, we should, when it comes to thinking about other people, we should be able to be considerate about them. We don't know them very well. We don't know what they're going through, and if they need help, we should help them out. I don't think we need to be such a divided country, and stuff like this ends up fueling these debates and these things where it's like, the left might say, oh, we're glad he's dead. The right might say, oh, and then it sparks this like online war, and it's just more and more things to divide the country. If we all realize like, hey, we're all people, we all share the same place we live in, let's make it a better place. Let's make it the best place because we live here and we want it to be the best for us. We're all people, man. We all bleed the same. We all breathe the same air. We all live on the same planet, and yet we divide ourselves by countries and then by states and then by cities and then by languages and cultures. And we're all the same at the end of the day. We might have some differences, which is what makes us amazing. But at the end of the day, we're all very similar. We're all human beings. And I think a part of that humanity is being there for each other. So I only make this video just to kind of talk about it real quick and just show that like anything can happen at any point in time to anybody. Nobody is safe, not even people that may have security around them or anything like that. Even the smartest online guy can be hacked. Even the biggest, strongest guy can be taken down. It doesn't matter who you are. And the fact that there are people out there that are, I don't want to say evil, but they're pretty much evil. The fact that people are out there like that are strictly looking to do harm to somebody else, it sucks. It really does suck to see. But anyways, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I'm not going to talk any more about this. I might keep you guys updated if there's any follow-ups to this. But for now, I'm just going to let the guy, do his thing. And hopefully, again, condolences to his family and everything. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. And, I'm not going to ask for anything else because this is just a sad situation, man. I hope you guys are all safe out there, and I'll see you next time.